It's that time of year again when it's past the equinox. It's a few weeks past the equinox. We're into July now, and it's the other side of the longest day, which is midsummer. And at this time of year, the second half of the growing season, if you like, is the time when nature starts telling us that things are happening, and the plants that we grow for food and to harvest in whatever manner, they tell us that they need harvesting. No more so than tomatoes, which will change colour. So yeah, the tomatoes start changing colour. These are Tigerella. Most of them are Tigerella. Some are not quite Tigerella. Some are. This is Cherry Bell. That's a bell tomato. But these are all grown from seed, and they're telling us now that, you know, it's time to start thinking about harvesting, and that's a great thing when the nights get shorter. Is that all plants and all life on Earth, in fact, is triggered by the seasons. So while we're at the home garden here, I thought I'll do a plant reveal. So I've got some potatoes. They're telling me basically that they need harvesting. So I'm going to go over there and I'm going to show you what we've got. Come and join me. We bought this potato tower from LIDL last year, I think it was. Last year we didn't grow anything in it. Well, we had a bit of a few chives growing out of it, but it was meant to be a potato tower, and I had a look at it and thought, well, I don't know whether we'll get any potatoes in there because they look quite small. In fact, I'll just show you on the camera now. This is, the area is quite small. The stacks lock together in this kind of formation. The idea is that you put a potato in each of the corners here, one seed potato, and on the top one I put one in the middle as well. But the bottom rungs we put a potato in, small seed potato, which I did. I wasn't too sure about what I was going to get out of it, to be honest. I've never used one of these potato towers at home before, and I thought the trays looked a bit small to grow potatoes in. It was about £12.99, this, by the way, if you're interested in buying one in future years. I'm sure they'll have them in future years. And for the compost, I used compost, basically compost that had been in other pots that I would normally have discarded, and I put some chicken manure in with it, as well as some potato fertilizer. I just mixed it in, and that's all I did. I didn't feed them on anything else other than that. And I put these in April, and they are first early. They're called Accord. They've been in there since then. They should have been harvested, actually, because they're first early. They should have been harvested in June, but I've just left them in. Now, remember when I said that nature starts telling you when to harvest? Well, you can see here that the foliage is way past its best, and it's starting to die off, you can see. And this is telling us that the plant's life cycle is indeed coming to the end of the road. So this, to my mind, when it starts looking scraggly, it's not in the full flush of the full bloom of its youth, as it were. It's coming to the end of its life cycle, and it's the time to harvest, because the potatoes will not put that much growth on now at the end of the season. And I could leave it for another few weeks for it to all die down, but it wouldn't increase the yield much at all. So I'm going to reveal it now. Yeah, that's it, Accord First Earlies, and I put that in the beginning of April. So it is showing some bulging here. I've noticed on the top it is a bit of bulging there, and so I'm going to basically I'm going to put a ground sheet down and just empty it out and see what we've got in there. So I'll do that now. So let's take the first tier off. Oh, look at that. You can see a spud there already. Okay, let's have a look at what we've got in this top layer. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 seed potatoes. I can see some little tiddies coming through here at the top. So I'm just going to empty it out, take the label out, and let's see what we've got. Oh, here we go, some worms. What I think I'll do, I'll put my gloves on. So latex painting gloves. Let's break it down. It's looking quite promising. Seed potato. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to weigh these and see what we've got here. So Accord are excellent first earlies. They make good chips, if you can get them big enough, that is. At this size, they make great new potatoes, great for salads, great for mash, a great, in fact, all-round potato. So, let's see, out of 4 little seed potatoes, and these were seed potatoes from Taylor's, a Scottish company dealing in Scottish seed potatoes. I think we got them in the RHS at the end of March. Planted them at the beginning of April, and they've got a good reputation for seed potatoes, the Scottish type of seed potatoes. I think this is a great harvest, by the way, just for one layer of that's great. That comes to, I'll just show you on this camera here. I'll take it off, and that shows you 2 and almost a half, 2.5 pounds, almost 2.5 pounds, 2 1/3 of a half. See, it's not bad. That's not a bad harvest from just that first tray there. And we've got another another 3 layers to go. So that's a good harvest. So I'm going to put it on time lapse and you can see how the rest of the harvest goes.
Sin fallag faldiraldiru durirai taito Kanni miseraithin pigag faldiraldiru durirai taito Tossi bluidal getlederian faldiraldiru dirai taito Chige anno luni twerdian faldiraldiru durirai taito
So this is the second layer, and I'm going to see how much this weighs. Now I don't expect this to weigh as much as the top layer because there were only 3 seed potatoes in here. The top layer had 4 potatoes because it had room at the top for an additional one in the middle of the triangular growing thing here. To my mind, there's nothing more exciting in gardening than digging up your own homegrown potatoes, watching them grow over the months and seeing your harvest and the hard work, as long as they haven't been eaten. Sometimes they do get eaten by things, and I noticed a few slugs hanging around as the potatoes work themselves to the surface of the soil, and the slugs will bore into them. But these all seem sound. They seem in pristine condition, and the quality of eating fresh potatoes that you've just picked with a knob of butter is glorious. So let's see what the weight of this is. Okay, that's 1 3/4 pounds. It's just under £2. I could show you. It's just under £2 there. So that's the second layer, and I expect as we go down the layers, they will diminish in yields, because quite simply the lower down they are, the less light they get. The ones at the top get more, the ones at the bottom get a bit less. So that's our second tier. There's a little tiddy. Be interesting to know how you grow your spuds. We grow them at home as a supplement to what we're growing at the plot. At the plot we've got the main crops in, and we won't be harvesting them for a good few weeks until the foliage has died down. They've got the advantage at the plot as well of having full sun, whereas in the garden here we only have partial sun. So the sun comes round and it only warms them for part of the day. So I'm just going to move that over here and decant our second layer of spuds into an appropriate container, which happens to be my grandma's old mixing bowl. There we go. So let's get number 3. I'll show you. So layer number 3, and it's restricted by string at the moment. I have to get these through. I had to string them up to get so we could get past, because it's been so vigorous. The growth of these potatoes has been so vigorous that we just couldn't get through. So there we go. So just put them out the way. Let's move the scale. Here we go, layer number 3. It's great when you can just see them coming out, peeking out the sides here. See? Look at that. It's great, isn't it? And you can see them on all 3 sides, like a tri-cornered hat of potatoes. It's amazing to think how little feed I actually put in here. It's just a handful of chicken manure and a handful of potato feed, and that was it. Just water them. There was no additional feed or anything. So surprising to see how much you get. Some of them are really quite sizable. Of course, in the 1960s, when I was growing up, my grandma, who was born in the reign of Queen Victoria, by the way, and when she was very young, she went into service, and she must have only been about 14 years of age, and she'd go into a rich person's house and be a maid of all things, which was the lowest paid of the lowest paid work. She was up at all hours doing all kinds of things, and one of her jobs was tending to the kitchen garden. And during the First World War, when she was only about 19, she actually became a gardener. I think that's where I get my interest in gardening from, to be honest, because I remember my grandma in the 1960s. She was very, very Victorian, Edwardian in a way, it's early Edwardian, and waste not want and stuff like that. And she used to take, that's a seed potato, which is inedible. Seed potatoes no good. And she used to grow potatoes from peels, potato peelings, and she used to just have a little bit of wasteland, you know, the house that we had, and just throw the potato peelings in, and after a few months she would have them potatoes. She knew exactly what she was doing. It's incredible to think how stuff like that influences your life, you know. You don't realise it at the time. It's only when you grow up that you realise that these things have an effect on you, you know. And I always, when I'm planting potatoes and harvesting them, I always think of my grandmother. My grandmother's name, by the way, was Eleanor Rigby. Yes, she was Eleanor Rigby, and she was born in Liverpool, in Old Swan in Liverpool, and her father was James Rigby, and he was a teamsman at Speak All Estate, on the estate, and they worked on farms. They made a living. They were agricultural workers, basically, the entire family. And in the summer, Eleanor, as a child, would get the day off school to pick potatoes at a local farm. And that's how people used to live back then. It's very agricultural based. Agricultural workers. If you've ever done your research into your family tree, you will see that thing on your the old birth certificates, ag workers, agricultural workers. And I think it has an effect on you, you know, historically speaking, down the generations, even though you may not always be aware of it. So I always think of Eleanor when I do this. Her father, by the way, was born at Strawberry Fields, a place called Strawberry Fields. And amazingly, while they were working at Speke Hall, they lived in Speke, a stone's throw away from Paul McCartney's house in Speke, because he used to live in Speke as well. And where they lived, in Oglet Lane, was demolished in the 1960s, and now that road, that place, forms part of John Lennon Airport in Liverpool. Isn't that amazing? Truth is stranger than fiction. And in the 1966, when Eleanor Rigby came out, All the Lonely People, I used to drive my grandmother crazy by running round singing the song Eleanor Rigby, Eleanor Rigby. I used to drive her nuts, and she used to chase me round the kitchen table with a brush. I always laugh about that, but it must have drove her mad. She hated the name Eleanor, by the way. She thought it was too posh. There you go, a bit of family history for you. So I'm going to weigh this, and I can see now it's not as much as the last one. And notice that as we're going down, I'll just put that there, and I'll show you on this camera here. As we're going down, the yields are getting less. That's just over a pound and a quarter on the old scales there. So as we're going down to the bottom layer, it's getting less and less. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to find a container to put these spuds in. Not they will fit them in here, but let's give it a go. Yeah, I might do it. There we go. That's layer number 3. Let's put that there, and let's go for number 4. So this is the last one. See what we've got here, and I don't expect much from this one because this is right at the bottom of the tower. The LIDL potato tower for £12.99, no doubt. If you do see it in Lidl next year, I don't think you'll get one this year, but next year you might get one. I'd recommend you buy one because they're really good. I think they're very good indeed. So you already see some potatoes at the side, a bit leaner down on this level, the bottom level. It's interesting because I didn't know what to expect, and when I first looked at it I thought, okay, what could I grow in there? And I first thought of strawberries. That was the obvious thing, strawberries. I did try some onions, and went for spring onions, and they didn't do too well in here last year. And so this year I thought, right, I'll do what it's built to do. It's built to grow spuds, so I thought I'll grow spuds. You see how the seed potato uses all its energy to grow, and it just becomes mush and starts to decay, which is not a bad thing because that goes back to the earth, doesn't it? That's the other part of the seed potato there. Not edible. I wouldn't recommend eating that. There you go. There's a leopard slug there. See that slug? Leopard slug. They're supposed to be good for the garden. Not all slugs are bad, by the way. Some are good. So there we have it. Out of one little potato tower with three seed potatoes, one in each corner, you can get all of this harvest in a couple of months. So yeah, this one's the top one, which was 2 3/4 pounds. This one is about 2 1/4 pounds. This one is level number 3 at 1 1/4 pounds, and level number 4 again at 1 1/4 pound. So that's a good harvest, don't you think? It's a good little harvest. So so yeah, if your battery just went then, if you've enjoyed this vlog, then please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We need your support, and share it on your social media. And myself and Catherine will see you in the near future, possibly down on the plot. Who knows? Could be back here. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.
Dutsin fallag faldiraldiru durirai chaito Kanni misreithin pigag faldiraldiru durirai chaito Tossi bluidal getlederian faldiraldiru dirai chaito Sige allo luni twerdian faldiraldiru durirai chaito Faldiraldiru durirai taito